Hello YouTube, and welcome to Hello YouTube, and welcome to Stewie Squirrel Adventures. For every adventure, you also need to start somewhere. That's why I'm doing this little video. Today is a little special day because voila! Of course, yeah, it's just like a regular envelope from USPS, but what do we know, right? But let's get this open. Say hello to Mama Sharon, who's going to also be joining our adventures.
Hi.
Alrighty, now let's see what we got. Because every adventure, if you want to travel the world, you might need one of these things. My very first passport. And the reason why this video is so important, and you will see the adventure of the leading up to as to why. Because later today, we're going to meet the person who made my whole dreams, inspirations for doing this channel, and everything that's about to happen a possibility. So let's go for an adventure.
Binsky with us tonight. He is an American travel blogger and vlogger. I'm moving over here so he can come out. He's visited every country in the world. He documents his travel on YouTube channel and other social media accounts, Instagram for one. He holds the Guinness World Record for the fastest time to pack a suitcase. I kind of want to challenge him on that one. He also, until 2021, held the record for the most UNESCO World Heritage Site visits in 24 hours. So now it's 23, I guess. So without further ado, here's Drew.
Oh, it's heavy.
Yeah.
Hi, Texas. Austin, can you hear me? What's up, guys? Thanks for coming. It's great to be back in the country of Texas. I'm just kidding. No, I was actually born in Dallas, so it's really cool. Anybody drive here from Dallas? Yep. Wow. Awesome. My mom's right there actually, the one taking pictures. My parents went to UT Austin. I didn't get into UT Austin, so I went to Wisconsin, but I really love Texas. My whole family lives here, and I'm a Texan at heart, even though I grew up in Phoenix. So it's great that you guys are here. Is anyone from a different country? Just scream the country.
Romania.
Nice. What's a mask? Did I say it right?
Yep.
Yes.
India.
Which part?
South.
South India. Nice. Yes. Really? El Salvador. Cool. Any other countries? Just scream the country. What is it? Taiwan. I love Taiwan. Great. So I'm gonna do a little talk here, and then we'll do Q&A, and then I'm gonna happily sign all of your books right here on this table. So I'm from Arizona. I studied abroad in Prague, Czech Republic. That was kind of what got me into traveling. Anyone been to Prague? Wow, a lot of people. I'm actually spending the whole summer there coming up because I really like Prague. So that's kind of where I got the travel bug, got hooked on meeting new people, experiencing new cultures. And then I taught English in South Korea for 2 years, which was an amazing experience. First time in Asia. Started a travel blog when I was there, back when blogging was popular, before YouTuber was even a word. This is in 2012. YouTube was around, but like making a career on YouTube wasn't a possibility. So I was writing about my travels, and then as I was traveling, this globe is really cool right here, by the way. As I was traveling around Asia, I kept documenting on my website, and that kind of led to making videos when my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, she's not here today, but her name's Deanna, she bought me a video camera and told me that I should start like filming my travels and putting them on YouTube, because that was a good platform and a way that I could make some money. This is in 2016, so I did that. She got me a camera, I started filming, I went to Vietnam, I started making videos like, what can $10 get you in Vietnam? That was my actually first video ever. And then when I went to North Korea in 2017, that video went really viral, like 10 million views, and that was the moment that I said, okay, I think I'm gonna start making a career out of travel. I gotta put the blogging away and just focus on making videos. So that's what I did for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. By myself, I was filming, editing, uploading, scripting, everything as I was traveling to every country. I finished in Saudi Arabia in October 29th, 2021, and around that time is when I started hiring my first editor, because I realized that in order to get to the next level, you have to have a team and have people help you make the videos. So now I have a team of around 15, and we just focus on making like good documentaries, long form, high production value about different places and cultures and people. Hopefully you guys have seen some of the videos, which is why you're here. So yeah, that's basically what I'm focused on at the moment. I finished the countries, now I just want to tell the best stories wherever it takes me. So after this, I'll be in Chicago, Miami, New York as part of the book tour in the next 3 days, those 3 cities. And then I'll be in Manila for a week, and then I'll be going to China for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, going to central and western China, places that are off limits and that tourists usually don't visit. And then I'll be in Prague all summer. So that's really exciting. I'll be telling stories all over the world in the next few months. And I'm excited. What did you say? Someone said something? No. So I'm going to answer a lot of your guys' questions because I know you have a lot, and please don't be shy to ask. That's why I'm here. So if you just raise your hand, we have another mic somewhere. Yep, she's back there. She's going to give you the mic. Don't be shy. You can ask me anything about how I make money, what are my favorite places, least favorite places, why do I like Texas so much, anything.
Not the heat.
Just please say your name and where you're from when you get the mic, if you could be so kind.
So I'm Jake, I'm from Austin.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for being here. Just curious, could you give us a 1-star review on like a place you stayed? Maybe don't say the country, but just a horrible experience of a place that you stayed.
That's a great question. I'll say the region. I was in Central Africa like maybe 6 months ago, and was just road tripping, and usually I book hotels last second, literally. Like I don't even have my hotel for the next few places, just kind of like last second. Yeah, we were on dirt roads, and then we checked. There was actually no signal on our phone, so we were like, where are we going to sleep? We just kept driving, and it was like 2 in the morning, it was pouring rain, and there was a little sign that said like guest house. So I was with my local friends, and then we pulled in, and it was $3 a night, which is probably, I stayed in a hostel in Ukraine in 12, that was like $5 a night, but this is the new record, $3 a night. And there were bugs everywhere, and the room was like just maybe twice the size of this table, and I wouldn't dare go in the shower because there was a big spider above it. It was really hot in there, really sticky, and yeah, usually I just take off. You take a shirt and put it over the pillow to be a pillowcase, because I know my clothes are cleaner than what they gave me. That's the first thing that comes to mind. There's other accommodation stories. Yeah. I've never been asked that question. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, I'm Sharon Burleson. I'm from Alvarado, Texas.
Nice. I like that you're filming me right now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously.
We are going to the Bahamas on my birthday for the very first time to travel. Do you have any suggestions where to go, what not to do, things like that?
The Bahamas is the only country that I visited when I was really young. I must have been 12.
On a cruise.
15, and I haven't been back since then. It's all the other countries I visited when I was like 12 on cruises. I actually revisited all of them in my adult life. So all I remember is staying at the Atlantis Hotel and going down like the big slide with the sharks.
I think that's where
Some of
we're
my family
staying.
behind
I
me,
think
they were
that's
there.
where we're staying.
Are you you're staying there?
Yeah.
Okay. My family who's in the room right now were adults when they were there, so they could probably. I was like 12, but I remembered it was beautiful. I do recommend. This is just a general travel tip to like leave the resort and maybe go to town for.
Oh, we're going to, and
Okay,
then
cool.
all the travel things.
Okay, awesome. Are you renting a car?
Probably so.
I think you should rent a car.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of that because then you can do what you want on your
I
own
would do
schedule.
bicycles, but I'm 62 years old now. I'm not going to ride a bicycle all over the place.
Yeah, that's up to you, but I think you should rent a car if you can, and then, yeah, you can
Okay.
go wherever you want, stop in the small little villages, and
Okay.
people are really friendly there.
Yes.
All over the Caribbean, they're friendly, so.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like the one country that I didn't visit in my adult life, out of every country, that I can't speak too highly on.
Well, you
I
get-
do love the Bahamas, I just can't give you advice.
Okay, you can go with us then.
Maybe. Just coordinate with my mom and get, and then she can help you.
He is fun to travel with.
Yeah.
Thanks for the question. I like your hat too.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else have questions? Yes.
Where do you find your fixers for places like Haiti?
Great question. I spend a lot of my time trying to find local people in these countries because if I just show up alone, then it's going to be hard to. I could do it by myself, but like I spend too much time looking at Google Maps, figuring out how I'm going to get here, or I can't speak the language. So I rely on the local people to take me around. Sean, my tour guide in Haiti, I got in touch with him through another YouTuber friend who went with him, and he told me, hey, like I actually saw his video and I reached out to the YouTuber.
Nick?
No, Chris Muslist. Nick also went with him.
Yeah.
Chris Muslist was the first guy who went with him. And then he told me, like, yeah, here's the contact of him. But usually I'm scouring the internet, looking at my Instagram, like asking people if you know people in these countries. Like in China, I'll be with this girl who speaks Chinese. She's from China, but she lived in the U.S. for 10 years, so she speaks really good English, which is helpful for my viewers. So I'll be with my camera guy and her, and she'll be taking me around. I actually plan where we're going, but she'll be like helping with like interviews and stuff. Good question. There's no one answer for that question. Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm Ben. I'm from Austin, Texas.
Nice.
So I have a question, which is, if you happen not to be a famous YouTuber, how would you recommend you do this sort of style of travel where you connect with the locals the way you do it?
Thank you. I still don't like using the word famous, but I'm glad you can, like how to meet local friends, like how to travel my style without being a YouTuber. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm really spontaneous, so that's something that you can do anywhere. Like, you just book a flight somewhere and get in a car, as I recommended to her. You can just drive somewhere. You can make local friends on the spot if you just ask around, ask your hotel, ask any. People are really friendly. Always, people are friendly. So, you could also like hire local tour guides. Like there are usually in cities, you'll find people that websites or toursbylocals.com or other places, and you can like pay them, and they'll be with you for the whole day. I really recommend getting local friends.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One more follow-up question is, so what is the most isolated place you've ever been to in your travels?
Most isolated place I've ever been? Maybe somewhere in the Pacific. There's really small island nations like Tuvalu or Nauru. There's one called Kiribati, but it's spelled Kiribati. Maybe those places, because you're like all the way out there. There's a few people living there, and yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What about the most isolated place on a continent?
On a continent, maybe Mongolia. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Western China in 10 days from now. That will probably feel more isolated. Yeah.
South Pole.
Oh yeah, South Pole. Definitely the South Pole. Definitely the South Pole. Sorry. When I get asked questions like this, I just think of the map and just like, think of where I've been. But yes, I was recently in the South Pole. That's definitely the most isolated place. It's weird to think that every direction is north from the way I was standing. Unless you believe in flat Earth, maybe you don't. Do you believe in flat Earth?
No, oh no.
I tell you, the Earth is not flat. Yes.
How many countries has your dog been to?
My dog's been to 12 and soon to be like 18 by the end of the summer. Yeah.
Wow.
We like to travel with him. Yes, sir.
Where do you get the energy to run so many businesses at once?
Where do I get the energy to run so many businesses at once? I just focus on YouTube videos. All the other ones are secondary. You asked me the question about energy because right now I'm really low on energy just because I pushed it to the limits for this trip, but still having a great time. I'm kind of built. I don't know where I get it from, like how I can always just keep going, and did you give it to me? I just don't know. I just don't know where it comes from, but I guess I just get really excited the next place, and the fact that I have the opportunity to tell stories like this on YouTube and be a messenger like gets me excited. So maybe I don't know where the energy comes from. I don't take any supplements. I work with Red Bull. Like I was just in Berlin on a sponsored thing, but I don't drink Red Bull. I do drink coffee for the taste, not for the effect. I don't know where it comes from. And I sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night.
Oh, wow.
Lately, it's been about 4 or 5 hours a night. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question to
Yeah.
that. Now that you have people that work for you, right? How do you deal with the trust of the business? Like they
Yeah.
have to work in various parts of your
The
business.
question is, how do I deal with trust when I hire people? It's
Yeah.
very difficult. They have more responsibility, and like always someone calls in sick, or one of my editors, her husband's in the hospital right now, so it's like very difficult. Like I'm just in the middle of that because she can't work, and I have to ask her why. Like so, it's difficult. I'm learning as I go. I think starting any business, you have to kind of take the stepping stones to get there. But I have people that help me out, like AJ, who's right there. He's my production manager, so the guy right in the black shirt. So he will review all the cuts before they come to me, and he's a writer, much better writer than I am. So he helps me with my voiceover, and before the cut even comes to me, I'll already have like the voiceover set that I'll adjust, and then the cut has been reviewed by him. So having those kind of like steps help. Otherwise, it's too overwhelming. It is difficult though, very difficult. Yes, Rick.
Yes, cousin.
Cousin Rick.
Where does Drew see Drew in 10 years?
Oh wow, that's a hard question. Maybe with one kid. Dan and I talk about having one kid just so we can still maintain the life of travel. No, I think one. Still, like I still think YouTube, of all social media platforms, YouTube is owned by Google, and it's now the second. Even on YouTube TV, which is in your living room, it's the second most watched platform. Like it's just past Netflix. So Disney's number 1, YouTube's number 2, and Netflix is number 3. So I just think that the rise of YouTube is going to continue, and so that excites me to keep telling stories as long as I stay healthy. I think the passion will stay there, but I do plan to keep on telling stories from really faraway places, like more extreme.
Do you like Google Maps?
I really like Google Maps. Do you like Google Maps?
His dad works for Google Maps.
Oh, really?
Your cousin here works for Google Maps.
Oh yeah, I use Google Maps a lot. Except in China it doesn't work, so I'm trying to adjust to Apple Maps. Even if you have a VPN in China, it's still really slow. So I'm trying to use native apps. So WhatsApp won't work. We have to use iMessage. A little bit of adjustments for China. But yeah, I love Google Maps. I use it a lot.
There you go.
Great app. It's actually the most useful travel app. We're gonna. Okay, where's the microphone?
I'm
at?
right here,
Okay.
but just I'm waiting to see where you're.
It's okay. I know it's
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
everywhere. Right here in the front. What's your name?
Preston, and I'm from Dallas.
Thanks for driving up.
Other than the United States, what country would you move to?
Oh, I've lived in 7 countries, mostly in Asia. I'm thinking about spending time in Dubai, not permanently, but for maybe 3-6 months, because it's just in the center of the world and I can travel easier from there. It's not the most culturally interesting place because 90% of the residents of Dubai are not from Emirates, they're all from around the world, which actually makes it kind of cool, like New York. But that would be the place I would go next. But maybe somewhere else in Asia. I really like being in Asia. Yeah. Good question. Thank you. We'll go white shirt here and then over there.
Hey, I'm Josh.
How you doing, Josh?
Originally from Austin, or Chicago. Moved to Austin.
Nice, I'll be in Chicago tomorrow.
We have a great time.
Go Cubs.
Go Cubs.
That's right. Was wondering, do you have a points and miles strategy?
Yes, I do. I work with a travel agent who's a wizard at that, and he is my coach, and he tells me, like, you have to, stay 5 more Marriott nights in the month of June. He finds all of these hacks, and then I do that, and I get status. So I also have, like, Amex and Chase points that I use that I track, and I will buy flights from that. But, like, to get highest status on all the airlines, which I have, has come from my wizard travel agent. He's in Switzerland. I can maybe recommend him if you want. Yeah, he's really good, and I just flew Turkish Airlines to Berlin, and in one flight I got Star Alliance Gold from one flight because there was like a promotion on Turkish Airline. If you fly within this week, if you fly more than 5,000 miles in one flight, you get it. But like no one hears about these things, so I did it, and now I'm Star Alliance Gold on Turkish. So yeah, I try to hack when I can. It's just
cool.
like yeah.
Do you always fly economy or?
It's like a mix. I never outright pay for business because it's too expensive. So if it's sponsored, I'll take it. Or if I can use points to bump it up, I'll take it. But it's a half and half right now, probably.
Or if you take your mom first class.
Well, if she pays for it, yeah.
I take him first.
Like I just was working with Red Bull and they flew us first class from Germany to LA. It was awesome on KLM. KLM is a very underrated airline, by the way. It's a Dutch airline.
Where next?
Oh, we'll go purple and then we'll kind of snake over.
Hello, my name is Matt. Born in San Antonio, but in town from the Philippines. Where?
Oh.
From the Philippines. I'm on a 2-year lease. Been visiting for about 6 years. Been to 40 countries, and BGC is amazing.
Yeah.
I went there for work originally, but also found a partner. And we've been there about 3.5 years. Not to talk so much about me, but why don't you spend more time in BGC?
BGC is a really cool area of Manila. I used to live in BGC up until COVID hit. I always go back to the Philippines because that's where my wife is from. So we're going to be there together in a few days. We go there 3-4 times a year. Why don't I live there? I would love to go back there, but now we're settled back in Arizona and we've been happy there. It's a little more convenient. Just like, for example, like if there's a storm, the Wi-Fi goes out. Like it's just a little bit harder to live in the Philippines for those reasons. But I love the Philippines. I think it's a great country, and Manila is not the best city in the world. Pockets of Manila are great, like BGC, but the fact that you can get on a plane to go around the islands is awesome. Cool. I love the Philippines. I don't really have anything negative to say about the Philippines. I spent 2 years there, but maybe I'll be there again in the next few years. Yeah.
See you there.
Yeah, see you there. Let's move it over.
Oh, right here.
Where's the mic? Yeah, maybe black hat, and then
Yeah.
right behind you after red hat.
Hey Drew, my name is Squirrel. I'm also from Alvarado, Texas.
Nice to meet you.
I have a lot of anxiety that I deal with, and I'm wanting to highly participate in going on my journey across the planet. What can you help for people who have anxiety, who want to pursue this, but are having that difficulty of pushing that extra mile?
Thanks for the question. Do you travel alone or want to travel alone or with someone?
Probably both.
Yeah.
She's gonna go with me.
Okay, cool. I also have anxiety just from being in so many airports and so many like passport checks and being detained a few times. Like that has given me anxiety, but it's just something that I push through, and I try to make local friends. And usually, if you have conversations with people that you've never met, they'll inspire you, and it'll be different than what you're expecting. So that kind of will introduce you to the culture through their eyes, as opposed to just going alone. Or if you go with your friend or partner, I don't know how you guys know each other.
Mom.
Sorry, there's a lot. Mom. I've traveled with my mom a lot. I think I think you should definitely travel with your mom. Do you guys get along?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think, and always staying busy, like not staying at a resort, which I recommended to your mom earlier, like doing things, going places, meeting people, even just not having a plan, but just moving is a good idea. Just don't sit on a chair and sit on the beach or in the couch.
Yeah.
Just always stay active, and you'll find things to do, and it'll keep your brain busy. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Like, I think you can do it.
There's your motivation.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, I'm Chloe from Houston.
Did you drive here from Houston?
I did.
Is that
drive
far?
From Houston, like 3 hours.
Thank you for driving 3 hours.
Of course, I wouldn't have missed it. So my question is kind of a two-parter. I know you've been to some places that are harder to travel to, like North Korea and then some other places. My first question is, how do you get to go to places that don't always allow travelers? And then my second question is, so I read a lot about places in the world people cannot travel to, like Snake Island off of, I think.
Brazil, I really want to go there.
Yeah, Brazil, and then I think there's an island off of India.
North Sentinel Island.
Yes.
I also want to go there. But
Yes.
that was awesome.
Okay, that's my second question. Can you, like, since you're so cool, can you pull strings and get to those places?
That's not a coolness thing. The North Sentinel is completely off limits.
Okay.
If you guys remember the story of the Christian missionary that went there, and he came on a boat, and then with a bow and arrow shot him and killed him. That was like 5 years ago, something like that.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so you can go to Sentinel Island, not North Sentinel Island. Sentinel Island has tourists. They have local people, but they're like in different areas that you can't even visit. That would be the closest you could get to North Sentinel Island. The question is, like, how do I get visas for hard countries? That's the biggest challenge of visiting every country, aside from like money, time, and patience. Like, it's getting the visa. Getting permission to enter the country is hard. So I'm working on my Iran visa again, and it's going to take like 2 months to get it, just because of the political problem between the two countries. They're all different. Usually, like, I have to send my passport in the mail, fill out a bunch of stuff, like get a doctor's note, get everything, or I just show up at the embassy. Like, to get the Venezuela visa, I went to the embassy in Manila right before COVID. For 4 months, I kept begging them, and they finally gave it to me. It's hard to get visas. For Syria, I had to go through a French NGO and get a volunteer visa for Syria. Yemen actually wasn't that hard to get, surprisingly. I got it through a local, it was like one tour operator, and then he met me at the border of Oman and Yemen, and I got it stamped in my passport on the spot. Libya, that was a tough one. I got it in, like I was just throwing the countries out. I was in between Syria, my Syria trip, and I had to fly to Rome to go to the Libyan embassy, and I had to wait. They told me it was going to take 24 hours. I had to wait 7 days. So I had to keep renewing my hotel because I thought I was leaving the next day, and I kept delaying my trips. And I finally got it last minute, and then I had to that was my business visa, but they only give business visa, so I had to pretend to be a oil consultant. Yeah, so I had to dress up. I had to leave my backpack in Tunisia, where I was coming from, and dress up and have like a briefcase. And then, yeah, they asked me a bunch of questions about what's my job, and I kind of froze, didn't know what to say. So they took me in the back room for more questions. Good times. Wait, let's get someone who hasn't asked a question. Maybe just because the mic is there, we'll just go like, yeah, and then in a line.
Hello, my name is Tomas. I'm here from Austin. What country do you feel has really good food that isn't talked about enough?
Not talked about enough?
Correct.
Philippines is one, just because like, like, I don't know. I haven't seen a single Philippine restaurant here, but I've seen Vietnamese, Thai, Korean, Japanese. So it's just very underrated cuisine. My favorite cuisines are all in Asia. So the ones that I just said, those 4 countries probably. I like Mexican food's really good. I know there's a big scene here. Tex-Mex. I like authentic Mexican. Is there good authentic Mexican here? I've usually had like Tex-Mex in Austin. American food is good, like the barbecue American food. I'm not a big like hot dog, hamburger. Those are like I like eating those, but it's not like an everyday thing for me. So yeah, the answer is like Vietnam. In order would be Vietnam, Korea, Thailand, Japan. I think those are the best options, in my opinion. There was another question. Yes.
Hello, my name is Alan.
What's up, Alan?
Doing good. My question was, your wife, Diana, she still has a Filipino passport, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you guys like pick which places to go together, which places to go by yourself? Isn't there big restrictions on like how many countries she can visit with the passport?
Yeah, she's been to around 95 countries, and it's hard.
Yeah.
She's gonna get a U.S. passport soon, hopefully, but until then, we have to be strategic and figure out where she can go based on her passport. It's so unfortunate that that's how it is. She's had to get many visas, so she will apply like I do, but it just takes a long time to get approval. So we've been able to we've been to Pakistan, Iran together, like all over Africa, South America. So it's been really fun, but it's challenging. Yeah.
And do you think you guys would travel everywhere together after she gets the U.S. passport? Or just like
I don't know if she wants to go to every country, but
Okay.
she's already halfway there. So
Okay.
maybe. But she's done the easy half. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think we're both 33, so maybe in the next 20 years, if she wants to do it, I'll do it with her.
Nice, nice.
Yes, behind you. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Lauren, and I'm from planet Earth, aka I'm a military brat. So I grew up living in countries from the beginning.
I'm really curious to know now which countries you lived in. Can you just
what
name the
my
countries?
question is?
No, the countries you lived in.
I've lived in Japan, I've lived in Germany, I've lived in South Korea, I've lived in Belgium, so primarily Europe, and then the U.S.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so now to the question.
My question is, as somebody who's a lifelong traveler, how do you deal with reverse FOMO? So reverse fear of missing out. So sometimes I get like a fear of traveling for years or long periods because I might miss out on big milestones at home, whether it's family, birthdays, or kids growing up.
You
or
mean
maybe
when you're
personal.
overseas, things happening here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah,
do you deal with that?
that's
Even
the-
just personal goals and stuff too.
Thanks for that question. It's difficult. Like, thankfully, I can FaceTime, which makes it better. But it was harder when I was traveling full time. Now I'm like, 2 weeks on, come back home for a bit, on, off. So I split it up. So I try not to miss events as much. But yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and it does make me feel more homesick if I'm missing a lot of birthdays and events and holidays. So yeah, that's a tough one. I try to time my trips to be home for important dates. I try to. It doesn't always happen, but yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for asking. Hi, how are you? Emma, can we get a microphone over here? It's my first cousin.
So we know that you've been making videos for a long time. I just want to know more about what inspired you to move from like YouTube to writing a book, and what you want your readers to get out of the book that's like different from like what we get out of your videos.
Thank you. Great question. So the book is cool because I can hold it and smell it and taste it if I wanted to, but it's like a tangible thing, which I think is awesome. And it's a different medium that I can tell stories that are not videos. So these stories are mostly, the original inspiration was the title was going to be "The World is Safer Than You Think," and it was going to debunk the 20 most dangerous countries in the world as listed by the UN. They have a list of safest countries, unsafe countries. So I still took that concept and I just told more deeper stories in countries like Libya, Yemen, Somalia that are really inspiring. And I think most of them are, some of them are scary, but there's always like a positive tone in them through the people I meet. And then there's a lot of like travel tips and useful hacks and advice. Like you're studying abroad soon in Rome, so I think you'll be able to find a lot of useful information in there, just like practical travel tips and like apps that I use in certain situations, like how I would approach things, packing tips. So yeah, it's only 200 pages, so, and there's some photos. It's a quick, you could probably read it on the plane, you know? But it's fun. It's just a different way that I could tell stories. Like, you know, pen to paper is different than editing on a video. And the problem with the video, not a problem, but I'm limited by what I shot. Like, if I didn't shoot something, I can't really tell that story. But this is like, it's just in my brain of just dumping all the information. So yeah, it's fun. I hope you enjoyed the book. Thanks for the question. Should we do a few more questions? Okay. We'll go here. Yes. And then we can take it back. What's up, man?
My name's Joshua. I'm from like DFW. I see your hat. It's like a golf hat, and I know you like to golf. So like, what's the weirdest or most unconventional place you've like golfed at?
You a golfer too?
No.
Yeah, golf is kind of my escape from reality. I grew up playing, and it's just like the only time I can focus on nothing else but work. I did go to the Masters this year. It was really fun. I played in maybe 75 countries. The most obscure was like maybe Paraguay, or I played in Kosovo, which is a country. It's a different, like, UN observer state. I played in Pakistan. There is a course in North Korea, but I wasn't able to play it. There's one course there. Played in Uzbekistan, Brazil. It's fun. I really liked it. It's just like the experience of like the nature, so you're like meeting people, and then also you always get a caddy. In Burundi, I had a caddy, and he was a really good golfer. It's a country in East Africa, and he kicked my butt. But it was really cool to like talk to him about golf culture in this really tiny country in East Africa. And the president of Burundi was playing in front of us, so it's also kind of cool to like network with people. I try to play when I can, but it's a really fun for me to play golf, and I'm glad that I was raised playing golf, and it's something that every country has. Thanks for the question. Yes.
I'm Robin, and from Dallas. I know you said you travel some with your mom, which we travel around the country together, mom and son. But do you let your mom know when you go to these countries that are very scary? Like you may be nervous, because we've seen your videos of places that you've gone and it's been maybe a dangerous situation or something. But do you tell your mom that?
In the earlier days, I didn't tell her all the trips. Now I tell her everything because she's...
Didn't talk to you for a week.
Yeah, when I went to North Korea, I lied and told her I went to China. Then she got really mad at me.
And I didn't talk to
countries like Yemen and Afghanistan and stuff. They're really interesting stories. Yes?
So I have a question about the content that you create.
Sure.
So one of the things we were talking about is how clean you can deliver content when what you're capturing can be so busy and overwhelming. How did you figure out how to do that at the beginning, before you had a crew and a team and it was just you? How did you figure out how to edit and capture and do all of those things to still make it so clean?
Thank you for the question. That's also my cousin Alana. Thank you. It was, when I look at my old videos, I think that they're not that great. It's just like the more you do anything, the better you get. So like anyone that's playing on the PGA Tour, it's not just a wake up yesterday and got there. They spent a lot of years doing it. And up to this point, I've made like 1,400 videos, and I still think I'm learning as I go. But in the earlier days, I was just sporadic. I would just open my camera, film, interview people, and then it was like, and I was posting daily, so I would edit the video that night and then post it that night, and try to upload it in Wi-Fi that probably didn't work because I was traveling in Central Asia and Africa I'm talking about 2017, 18, those years. I just figured it out. Like I think there was a lot of bad videos and then a good video that went viral. Then a lot of bad videos and a good video, and then eventually just found the voice and figured out with a team how we're gonna. Each video now takes about a month to edit with 5 editors. So it's a lot of back and forth and writing voiceover, which AJ helps me with, and figuring out, no, this doesn't work. And it's hard to, I'm shooting like, let's say, 50 hours of footage and I gotta put it into a 30-minute video, so it's really, really hard to be like, no, we have to remove this scene because it doesn't push the story, the narrative. So it's really tricky. And sometimes we have battles, so like, no, like, I really want to do this, and my team is like, no, this is not getting to the end goal. So it's really hard to do it. But yeah, in the early days, I was just going crazy. That's what I did. I just stuck with it. A lot of questions. I'm happy to answer all of them. Let's go. Yeah, just in the back left. What's your name?
Hi, Jesse from Los Angeles.
You came here from LA?
Yeah, well, I live here now.
You live here now.
From
Awesome.
We recently took a trip to Taiwan. It took about 15 hours to get there. And after about 7 hours, I was just over the flight, pretty much done. Didn't want to be on it. So I was just wondering, how do you deal with long haul flights, and what is your favorite airline?
Thank you. Yeah, I have a 16-hour coming up from New York to Hong Kong, and then onwards to Manila. And that one's not business class, so that'll be, yeah. But I can zone out. I've kind of trained myself to sleep on planes because that's one of the only times I get to sleep, which is what I did this morning coming here from Phoenix. So I just do some work and then I sleep, do some work and sleep. Sometimes I watch movies on planes, but that's kind of, I actually really look forward to those flights because it's just like, I can focus on work. I don't have any distractions because there's probably no Wi-Fi on long haul flights. And it's just, I just get in the zone. But I guess if you don't do that, I do it as a break from work. Filming work. I'm still working on the plane. But I don't know, I look forward to it. Best airlines, probably like the Middle Eastern ones are really good, like Emirates and Etihad and Qatar, and then Singapore Airlines. And then after that, that's like top tier. Then it would be more Asian airlines like Japan, Korea Airlines. Unfortunately, the US airlines have nothing on international airlines. Yeah, seriously, it's not even close. Yeah, I would say that. It was really good. Yeah, that would be in the second tier of Asian airlines. It's a Taiwanese airline. Did you fly Eva? Yeah, it's a good one. Next question? Yes.
Hello, I'm Weber from Laredo, Texas. I live here in Austin now, but I had a question. I'm a solo traveler, and I like somewhat isolating myself from what's going on over here. So I don't usually travel with phone service or anything when I'm going abroad. Are there countries where that's probably not a good idea?
To have phone service? Like,
yeah, no phone service and being solo.
No phone service means you can't even like text someone?
Not unless you're around Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I get it. I think for safety reasons, you should have connection in case something happens and you have an emergency, but I think it's kind of nice that you are disconnecting yourself, and that's one of the reasons why I travel, to just kind of focus on different places in the world and not worry about what's happening here. So that is something that I think is great, but I would have, for safety reasons, maybe have a different phone in case you get in like a problem. You can get a local SIM card that you just put in it, or you can get a satellite phone. I have one of those. I use it at the South Pole to text my parents. It's like emergency. You can send a text to anyone and you can write it out. But I think there's some joy in that, actually, like disconnecting, because we're moving towards a world that's so globalized and everyone's on their phone all the time. So I wish people did more of what you're doing. I don't think there's a problem with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is anyone that didn't ask a question yet? You didn't ask a question. Okay.
What's up, Drew?
Oh, where's the mic at? Oh, how you doing?
My name's Mernal. I grew up in Washington, D.C., traveled all over the world, but actually heard about you while partying with your parents at the Thirsty Lion in Scottsdale. And the question for you is, have you ever doubted, was there ever a time in your life where you doubted your lifestyle and your career as a travel content creator, and how did you get over that self-doubt?
Not really doubted, but I've had burnout moments where I traveled too fast for too long, and then I just need like 3 days to just do nothing. But I didn't doubt the career. I always knew that I think I'm a good storyteller, or at least I can tell stories that can impact people's lives on a bigger scale. So I always kind of believed in that, and I still believe in that moving forward. So yeah, but burnout's a real thing. If you travel too fast for too long, it's really tough. So that's something I try to avoid. We'll just do one more question, and then when I sign your books, I can, you can ask some more questions when you come up. Yes.
Hey, Drew. My name's Ben. And I was just wondering, you've been covering some really fascinating stories that journalists and other outlets aren't really touching, like woman who doesn't eat or drink, man who doesn't sleep, two-toed tribe in Africa. Wondering how you're hearing about these stories to begin with, that you're going in depth on.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time researching, and AJ on my team helps me out. He helped find the no sleep guy, and for that one he actually went and scouted it out, and then I went there I got lucky there that I had his help. But the woman who doesn't eat, that story went really viral, had like 18 million views, the no sleep guy, and then I tried to dissect it and say, how can I tell another viral story about a person who has a really interesting life? And I was thinking like, okay, someone who doesn't eat. So I just spent like a week Googling it, looking at everything online, and I found a lot of people in India who haven't eaten, and they all passed away. And then there was one article in Ethiopian language about this girl who hadn't eaten. So I texted it to my Ethiopian friend. I said, can you help me translate this? And he said, she lives in the middle of nowhere. There was one article about her on a local news station, and I actually paid him to go to the village to meet her and see if it's legit, and he did, and she was legit. So then I flew to Ethiopia, and I met her, and everything else was spontaneous from then on out. But I spent a lot of time trying to find these stories, because that's where all the joy is, like, for me. Like, I could go anywhere and tell a story, but having like that, knowing what I'm getting into at least, like what's the title, what's the thumbnail, what's the concept, what's the intro of the video, that's really important. And then the rest of the story will be what it is. But the packaging of the story, like Woman Who Doesn't Eat, a lot of people click on that because they think it's BS, and that's a good thing for me. Then they click on the video and then they would watch it. So good question. So I'm happy to answer more questions as I'm signing your book, if that's okay. I don't know the system here.
Yeah, so what we're going to do, I don't need a microphone, because I speak really loudly. So what we're going to do is we're going to start lining up, and then we'll have somebody here to take pictures, if that's okay, and then y'all can have some time to talk to Drew about his travels. Is that cool? So,
Before you stand up, I want to take a selfie.
Okay.